No, this is for anybody. I just being lazy. I ain't cover tickets. I cover all, but that's all. So it ain't like VIP or nothing.
See, if I do that, I would have stood up.
Hey, VIP. Hey, y'all want paper low action, but it don't not come with it. Ain't nothing else gonna come with it. Just, oh, they got a nice black shit. That's it. That's the only thing that's come with it. We're gonna get started in a little while too, y'all. Give a little time for people to get it. You know, we on our own time, natural time. I don't call it CP time. It's You know, who knows what time it is? Can you tell me what time it is? No, you got it. You know, you know. So that's how it is. That's what time is. Time is a confirmation of existence. Yeah. But don't be late to work and then say, well, Khet Waas says that ain't no time. You know, you can't push time up. You can't push it back. It is what it is. So I'm here now. You gonna get fired. I don't. You know what I mean? I got nothing for you. No, but I appreciate y'all coming out. We gonna get started a little bit. Are we live in here? Yeah, peace to everybody who's watching so far on live. We're gonna get started in a little while too. Just bear with me a little bit. What's going on?
Oh.
Oh, okay. All right. We're gonna go ahead and get it started. So greetings. First of all, greetings to all y'all. Appreciate everybody coming. All right, appreciate y'all there too as well. So those that don't know me, my name is Khet Waas Hutip. Man, everybody's called me Khet. All right. So I'm a master herbalist, certified holistic nutritionist, a student at Dr. Laila Africa. Great to be part of him. And so Sacred Roots, and I'll close on Sacred Roots. My whole mission, right, is just simply empowering the community, empowering the people in order to heal, right? That's all it is. That's what I've been charged with. That's what I strive to do for the community is just give information. Because the one thing that I notice is that we suffer because of lack of information, right? Most of the time we just simply because we don't know. So doctor come tell you got, hey, how you doing? Doctor come in and tell you got dinotryptamines. You just say, oh, okay. You don't know. You ain't asked what it is, but what it is. How can I get rid of it? You don't know. You know. So it's about educating the community so that we are able to heal. All right. When we talk about healing, we talking about on all levels, not just the body, but we're talking about spiritually healing. We're talking about emotionally healing, mentally healing, right? All of that plays a part in making one whole. All right. Why do I say making one whole again? Because that is what the word heal essentially means. So when you look it up in Latin, you'll see the word helan. You will see the word helan. All right. Helan means to make whole. It means to make whole. Make what whole? Make whole. Your whole inner being. All your beings. You have 9 parts of your being. Right? Some say 7, right? When we talking about chakras and whatnot, right? But that's Hindu doctrine. It's not talking about the African. You understand what I'm saying? You got way more energy centers, or whatever you want to call them, right? Than all other races. Let's just keep it funky, right? So you have way more beings within you. We like to call it the 9 inner beings, right? We want to make that in one. We don't have. It's not layers. How we think. We think the mind. We think the body. We think the soul, the spirit, et cetera, right? It's all one. It's all meshed in one, and they work together in unison to make you that one complete whole being, right? So when we talk about that being becoming balanced, that's what's going to bring about true health, all right? Or what? Making oneself what? Whole, all right? So that's what it is. So that's what I choose. That's what I'm here to help with, assist with our community, right? To help heal. Because I don't heal you. I don't do that. No one heals you. You heal you, right? That's the reality of it. You heal you. Now, what can I do? I can guide you. I can say, hey, yeah, you should try this, use that, use that. You shouldn't eat that, eat this, etc. Yeah, I can guide you. But at the end of the day, you have to be the one to do it. I can't do it for you. I ain't gonna pop out. My head ain't gonna pop out the refrigerator and say, hey, put that shit down. You know what I'm saying? You ain't going, you know, this is crazy. He everywhere. You know what I mean? No. So you gonna have to initially do it. So what did I do? I help guide you. So that's what I'm here to do. So what we here to talk about today, y'all? We here to talk about diet. All right? Diet versus living. Why I say that? Like why die versus living? Well, we see it. We see it. It's the name, right? Yeah. Phonetics. It means a lot. Now we might say, oh, that's semantics, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. What? Eh, could be. But what we do have to understand is that your frontal lobe in your brain, it processes language. Right? So if it is die, that's what it hit. It doesn't differentiate. If it hits die, then say, oh, die, yeah, this is what we think, all right? So this is why you want to change up the words, because words do carry power. You understand? They carry power. They do carry power. Words can affect you. How we know? Because somebody might say something, somebody might call you a jackass, right? You might get angry. But the reality of it is, you ain't a jackass. But why? What was that word? Why did that word invoke such anger from you though? Because it must have had some type of power, some type of frequency that made you feel like, what are you talking to? Like, you know what I'm saying? So words carry power, right? So what we have to do now is take back those words or change those words. So I don't like to say diet, right? And we gonna understand why I don't like to say diet. I like to say living. Right. So what is diet? What is a diet? Well, let's look at the etymology of the words. Because words, once again, they carry what? Power. They have meaning. And then you have to get the initial meaning of what whoever created this word, what they meant by the word. All right. For example, everybody we can say, hey, that's a nice guy right there, right? But what does nice mean? Does anybody know what nice means?
Kind.
Huh? Kind, you think it means like, yeah, he's kind. But when you look up it in Latin, it comes from the Latin word nicius, which means stupid. You know what I'm saying? That's the phrase, what? The stupid guy, Lord. Finish last, right? So, we got to understand what we're saying when we say these things. All right? So, diet. What is diet? Diet comes from the Latin word dieta. All right, dieta. I'll spell it Diaita. It's Latin. All right, dieta. All right, excuse me, Greek. But it's Latin. Greek. All right, which means a way of life. So the Greeks had this word dieta. Then the French took it and it meant diet. And then it got to English and they transformed it into diet. All right? But it means a way of life. So a way of life for who? Who's this? Whose word? Well, who word is it? So it's a way of life for the Greeks, right? A way of life for the Romans, a way of life for the Greeks, right? They got nothing to do with the African. You see? So whose way of life are we really living when we say, yeah, man, I gotta go on a diet, man. I'm going to go on this diet. Greeks, right? But then you eat foods that say, hey, man, that particular diet ain't got nothing to do with your genetics, right? Now, we look in the Webster Dictionary, we go further, look in the Webster Dictionary about the definition of a diet. And what it is basically habitual food, right? That an animal and humans do or eat habitually. So that's the actual Webster definition. or definition, right? A definition. No, that's another time. So we see it's habitual. It's habitual life, a way of life that this particular culture or this community was eating, or how they live, right? So ain't none of y'all in here look like y'all Greek to me. I don't know who are there, but and none of y'all probably look like y'all Greek to me too. Right? So this is where sickness is starting to brew in, right? We are now outside of our nature. We're outside and we living in someone else's culture. Because we living what? A way of life that is foreign to us. Yeah? When they brought us over here, kidnapped us and brought us over here, they didn't bring our food with us. No, we brought some foods with us, the okra and all these different foods. Some foods are African. Yeah. We brought it, right? But when we was you were a captured person, you were at the mercy of what your captors feed you, right? The one thing they wasn't going to do was feed you something that's going to connect you back to your source, to nature, to your environment. So, what are we eating? What we eat? We call it food.
Poison.
Well, that's what we call it. We call it food, right? What's the definition of food? But this is key.
It's supposed to be things that, I guess, putting your body out, I guess, nutrients and all that stuff. Supposed to be.
Okay, cool. Nutrients. So he says supposed to be nutrients. Supposed to be unreal. So he even knows subconsciously, like, we know it ain't food we eat, but what is it? Anybody else? What is the definition of food? Anybody else know? All right. Go ahead.
Any nutritious substance that can be human or animal.
Okay. So any nutritious substance that maintains life and growth, all right, of animals, humans, and plants. That's the definition of food. Any nutritious substance that maintains life and growth of animals, plants, and humans. Now, the animals may be straight. The animals probably eat food, right? Because they within their nature. Plants eat food because they within their nature. And they're maintaining their life and growth. We can see the vegetation out there. We can see the animals. What about the human? Human, they end up with high blood pressure, diabetes, arthritis, cancer, heart disease. That doesn't sound like that's maintaining life and growth. Do it? So it's safe to say we're not eating food. Tell me if I'm wrong. So we're not eating food. But what the hell are we eating, Khet Waas? What are we eating? You eating drugs. That's it. To make it simple, it's drugs. And they have made us, we have become drug addicts. See, they confuse you about what a drug is. A drug is simply an isolated substance that is been probably extracted from some synthetic, even some organic, right? But it's a drug once it's been isolated. See? So now, instead of eating almonds, when you look on the back of the ingredients, it should just say almonds in it. You don't say no damn almonds. We know it don't say almonds. It says what? Maltodextrose, salt, sugar, sodium, infinite, you know what I mean? They say everything except for almonds. So we ain't eating. That's not food. That's not food anymore. We want some apple juice. Look at the back of the label. It should just say what? Apples and water. That shit don't say that. Excuse me, y'all. Now I think I ghetto up here sometimes too, right? But dang, I just, don't be no harm, right? It should just be apples and water. But what you see on the back? Citric acid. Citric acid. High fructose corn syrup.
Cane sugar.
And then, hey, other natural flavors.
Yeah.
What the hell is the other natural flavors? I thought it was the apple.
That's
They
natural.
have it repeat like just letters,
Yeah.
like SBA or whatever.
So we don't know what it is we drink. What is it? It ain't apple juice.
Eyes and all kinds of stuff.
You understand? So what are we eating? It's drugs. It's just chemicals put together that they call food, but at the end of the day, it's not food. It's a drug. And with this drug, or with the chemicals within this drug, we can understand why we are so addicted to this thing that we call food. We always want to eat in it. We always eating in it. We always eating snacking. We're the only species on the planet that snack. Animals don't snack. What if an animal snack? I'm gonna just have a little bit of antelope. I ain't gonna eat a whole. Like, you know what I mean? It would be an unbalance within the cycle of the nature. You know what I mean? I'm gonna just have a squirrel right now. Yeah, you know what I mean? So animals don't snack. That's only a human thing that keeps you addicted to these foods. When these companies, these food companies, they consult with their psychologists before they put out a food. They don't just put out food. They ain't thinking about you in the sense of health. They thinking about you in the sense of that dollar. So they get with their psychologists. Their psychologists say, hey, if you make it this color, if you make it this texture, it should smell like this, they're going to continue to buy it. And they ain't even going to know why they don't buy it. If you knew what was in these drugs, these so-called food, right? None of that stuff tastes good. But what they use salt and sugar. Everything has salt and sugar in it. And MSG, right? But they take that salt, they take that sugar. You can't have one without the other. It's in everything. You see? This is what keeps you addicted. And this is what makes you think it tastes good because of salt and sugar. But if you knew what vanilla ice cream really was, you wouldn't eat it. They know that. They knew if you was really to drink a Mountain Dew, you wouldn't drink it. If you really knew what it was. If you wouldn't really eat a bag of Doritos if you really knew what it was. Look at him. Tell me what it is. Yeah, I need to know now. Just have me a fresh Cool Ranch. You know what I mean? We wouldn't eat it if we didn't know what it is. So they use these addicting chemicals, salt, sugar, give you this thing that make you think it tastes good, and then they put it in your body, and now your body is going, just wreaking havoc. So the next question was on here was, are we consuming food? I think we just answered it, right? Are we consuming food, or is food consuming us? Or let's just keep it real. Are we eating food, or is food eating us? Because I'm going to show you food's eating you. I'm going to show you. Yeah, you got all of that. All right, so listen. What is, can anybody tell me what, when we talk about oxidation or oxidizing, did anybody tell me?
That's most to deal with the blood, like oxidating the blood, let the blood flow throughout the body.
Okay, so oxidation or oxidative stress. When we talk about oxidation or oxidative stress, right? I'm gonna make this really simple. Oxidative stress happens when you have more free radicals in the body than you have antioxidants. Now, what's a free radical? Yeah, well, that's like, you can't just, that sounded cool. All right, a free radical is basically substance that has more electrons than it should have. Right? It has an uneven amount of electrons. And we'll get in that because your body is what? Electrical. We know that, right? Yeah, we know it. All right, so free radical has an uneven number of electrons. And what's going to happen is, as it starts, so that makes it unstable. Let's say that. So it makes it unstable. All right? Because it's uneven, so it's unstable. Okay? Antioxidant. Antioxidant has enough electrons where it could give some electrons away and still maintain its balance, but it can make other free radicals back stable again or get rid of the free radical. All right? We're going to make it simple. So, oxidation. So let's say that the free radicals outnumber the antioxidants. You're going to get cell damage, even damage to your DNA. It's going to eat up at your tissues, tissue damage, muscle damage. But it'll even, like I said, it'll eat away at your DNA. Now, what are the free radical foods? This is so simple. Y'all know these answers too. Dairy, any type of animal flesh. Hot, say it. Sugar, definitely on top of the list. All, so, yes. So, greasy foods, fast foods, excess meat intake or animal flesh, all of those create free radicals in the body. All right? Which would do what? Deteriorate you from the inside out. Oxidation has a lot to do also with aging. You ever notice, like, people with poor diets, people who smoke a lot, drink a lot, they look old and their melanin look all ashy and rusty and they look dull. They're being ate from the inside out. I don't even know it. They don't see it till it's almost too late. That's how the addiction gets you. That's how addiction gets anybody, right? By the time you continuously eating these foods full of chemicals, and it's almost like a timer. It's almost like a timer. It deteriorates you all throughout your life. You think, man, I'm young. I'm gonna eat this pizza, whole pizza pie. I ain't nothing. I'm still young. I'm da 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 da. And you get 40, you get my age. You like, well, you don't look like you used to look. I ain't, you don't look, you don't look right. What's wrong with you? Now you start to get pain everywhere. You might got diabetes. Now you got high blood pressure. You got all these different. It catches up to you. That's why I don't believe in that. Oh, you can eat it in moderation. Don't believe that. What do you mean eat in moderation? Like if I keep stacking a brick and walking off, come back and stack a brick, eventually that brick gonna do what? That you gonna end up building a damn house eventually. See? So moderation, yeah, I don't believe in that. You can't moderately. That's what FDA do. You can't moderately ingest poisons. That's what they do. They approve of the poisons like arsenic. Well, they only can eat a little bit, still safe. Just a little bit of poison here and there. That's what they tell you. It's ironically the Food and Drug Administration. No, it should just be the Drug Administration because we already said that food, that is the drug. That's the drug. Ain't no difference. It's a drug. All right. So you eat all these different fast food, the Bojangles, the McDonald's, and all these different food. It's deterring you from the inside. So that was what created the free radicals. That is what is going to oxidate. And when we talk about oxidation, you're talking about what? You basically you can rust. You're rusting. You understand? Does that make sense? All right. So an antioxidant, clearly from the word anti, right? We see it does just the opposite. So what are some good foods that have high antioxidants? All berries, except for cranberry. All your berries, your blackberries, your strawberries, blueberries, amla berry, camu, you know what I mean? Cherries, absolutely. You see? So all of those have high antioxidants that will help destroy the free radicals and then help repair your cells. All right. So also just showed that yes, you can be eaten from the inside. So food does eat you from the inside. Tell me if I'm wrong. And also, too, now, y'all got questions? Ask me. I'm not I like to interact. So I'm not the real, even y'all on there too, right? Ask questions. The questions will get to me, right? But ask questions. This ain't gonna be like I'm a preacher and I'm gonna tell you this is what it is, and then that's what it is. It don't work like that with me. I like to get a good sense of what is what so I can help. You know what I mean? So that's how it is. So if you got questions, simply raise your hand and boom. Answer. And if I can't answer, I'm gonna say I don't know. All right? I ain't the one that's going moose. Moose me make up shit. That's why I am. All right.
Yeah, people who may be trying to transition to a healthier lifestyle. You mentioned earlier, like fried food obviously is bad and good for people. But what oils specifically would you recommend to somebody that would be more on the healthy side? Because there's a lot of them on the shelf: olive oil, canola, vegetable oil, almond, avocado, all that stuff. There's a whole range.
Right.
So what oils would you recommend to somebody to kind of be on the healthier side?
So the oils, this is the thing. You shouldn't even use oils. That's the reality of it. Like your foods already have a natural oil in it. So technically you shouldn't use oils. But the healthier of the oils, see, this is where, Dr. Sabi, praise be upon him, said, hey, if you're going to use this, then use this. But he knew Taylor should use no oil. Shouldn't use oil, period. So that's just keeping it real. But out of the healthy oil that you should use, avocado oil, of course, grapeseed oil. Olive oil is cool, but not to be cooked. It's only use it for like your salads, for dressings and things like that. Olive oil should not be cooked because it has a boiling point. What is it called? A boiling point? Is it called boiling? Smoke point. See, I got my chef in here. That's what you can correct me on the food, right? So so a smoke point. So you don't want to cook that because you'll lose all the vital minerals out of that anyway. So it's only to be like a dressing, et cetera, et cetera. Coconut oil is too high in fat. It's indigestible. So you shouldn't use that. Maybe your hair, but not even on your skin. Because the molecules in the coconut oil is bigger than the actual pore, so you won't get it. It won't be absorbed by the skin. So you shouldn't even use coconut oil just because it's high in fat. You clog your arteries up cooking with coconut oil. Right.
So what do you think about flax oil and sunflower?
So all of those oils, those are hybrids. Like say for example, like a canola oil. What is a canola? We don't even know what the hell it is. We just canola, but it comes from a rape. It's called a rape seed, and that's exactly what it's gonna do. It's gonna rape you all your minerals in your body.
They use it in insect repellent.
I can't hear you.
They use it for insects, repellent, to repel insects, the rapeseed plant.
Right. So if the insects don't even want it, I should tell you something right there, right? So that it comes from a rapeseed, but yeah, so you should definitely, you don't want that because
Not
then
even
it's not
like
even.
pecan oil or walnut oils.
Walnut oil is fine. Walnut oil is fine. Pecan oil, no. Um, Sunflower oil, no. On your skin, you use it on your skin. But as far as cooking, no, it will clog you up. So one thing about oil too, when you think about oil, say for example, you cooking French fries, right? You cook a French fries, potatoes already carry water, have water within it, right? Now you frying it in oil. Everybody knows water and oil don't mix, right? So guess what it does when it gets into your body? Your body has to make a decision. It has to say whether I'm gonna break down this potato or I'm gonna break down this oil. Because it sees the oil as food too. It doesn't see it as liquid or nothing. It sees it as, okay, this is a food. So it's gonna break down one or the other. It's usually gonna go for the oil because it's easier, right? So now you get your arteries, the vessels clogged up. All right, now you got bad cholesterol because now you got it caked up all on your arteries. You see? So it's not good to use. So technically, it's not good to use any oil. You should only use the natural oil that's already in your food, like in your vegetables. And if you get a good pot, trust me, it'll oil like it'll.
So like even if you have like with like a let's say hazelnut oil, sauteing your vegetables and all that stuff, a little bit of that, you think that's a no?
So that's what I'm saying. It's all a no-no when you talk about oil and food. But what I'm just saying is giving the healthier of the oils that if you want to use it, you should use these particular oils. That won't be so harmful to you. Especially if you're not a person that always uses it, it should be fine, right? But if you're a person that's always, you frying something or you something, then no, you should kind of mix it up a little bit. You know what I mean? But you don't always want to cook with oils. Let the natural oil from the foods saute it. And it'll trust me, it'll saute it. And that way you will actually know how the food actually tastes.
How about if we use them air fryers like the fried food is that stuff?
So air fry air fry is fine.
That's fine.
You know
Okay.
what I mean? Air fry is cool. Question about
So I have a question about food allergies. Like, how does that come into play with your diet? We hear a lot like, oh, I have a few allergies to this. So how does that really play into like us eating the stuff we're supposed to? And just, I'm trying to figure out how to formulate the question. I'm making sense?
yeah. So your blood type, yeah, good question. So your blood type, right? Well, it doesn't necessarily be a blood type too. But what happens is if you take, say, if you eat a strawberry, and it's like you always have this reaction. Because I always have a reaction if I eat a pineapple, so I don't even eat pineapples no more, right? But say you eat a strawberry, you have this reaction, then you may say, man, maybe I'm allergic. What you could do is take a food sensitivity test, right? Once you take this food sensitivity test, you can see the foods that you should eat and probably should eat for you. You know what I mean? So everybody's gonna be different. And that's the same thing with like herbalism, right? Sometimes they'll say, well, why you gave this person this and give them that? And this was the same, but they got the same high blood pressure, whatever. Sometimes this person may be on a medication that this person ain't on. So I don't want the herbs to interact with them, right, in their medication, et cetera, et cetera. You understand? So I'm saying that to say that you should do like a food sensitivity test, and you can find out what foods that you would be, allergic to. But even with that too, now you could also allergies and things like that. That's also a sign of like your lymphatic system needs to be cleansed. All right. So if you were to cleanse your lymphatic system, a lot of what you thought was an allergy probably not even an allergy either, right? So you can use certain herbs like palo mulatto, astragalus. Those are good herbs. Blackberry leaves go on lemon balm. Those are good herbs to help cleanse your lymphatic system, and you can find out like, hey, do I really have this allergy, or was I just, sneezing, or was my eyes red because the time of the season, or whatever. And then you got to think about, and I hope I ain't going all over the place, but then you have to think about the foods in their season, right? That's another thing that we got away from too, is eating food in season. Now you can eat mango year round, but mangoes don't grow year round here. So now this mango that you eating in the winter can actually have way too much sugar in it. It can actually give you diabetes now. Versus in the summer when you eat it, it can help cleanse the liver, et cetera, et cetera. You understand? So nature only give you what you're supposed to have in its season for whatever particular reason. Like I got an orange tree in my yard, it grows in the winter. And I was like, I never knew. I was like, why this thing ain't grow? Because when I first, I was like, why? This must be it. It ain't going nowhere. But when the winter came, it was like, boom, boom. I was like, it makes sense. The immune system, vitamin C, high vitamin C. So nature said, no, you don't need that now. You need this in the winter. You see? So nature is always going to give us, she's always going to give us what we need when we need it. But what we do, we want to go outside of her, outside of nature, and eat what we want to eat when we want to eat it. I want a watermelon in December. You know what I mean? So we also got to get back to eat in season. When you start to eat in season, a lot of your allergies or what you thought was food allergies will go away too. You see? So there's a lot to it. You know what I'm saying? It's not a lot to it, but then it is at the same time too. This is about just getting back and returning back into, because your body is telling you, nah, I don't want that. And it depends on what it is you eat. It may be out of season eating it. And it's your body's telling you, nah, I don't want that. This ain't what I need right now. Not in the winter, not in the fall, et cetera, you see. So a lot of that is getting back in tune with nature.
You also use fertilizer for it, right?
Fertilizer what?
For the orange tree.
No, I don't use fertilizer.
You could use fertilizer for the tree they have there.
Well, no. My point, what I was saying is that oranges are more so a winter fruit. I was thinking that it was summer, but it wasn't. Right. So I say that to get back into it. We're back to nature, right? Once we get back into nature, a lot of our issues, sicknesses, our ancestors didn't have these issues. They ate in tune. They ate in nature. They actually ate whole foods. You understand? A whole food. Now, it's going to take a whole food to make you whole again as well. You understand?
I have a question. What type of plants are in season right now?
What type of plants that's in season? So a lot of the greens. So like your kale's going to be cabbage if you eat cabbage, mustard greens if you eat that. What else? You got apples.
Berries.
Up north, if you up north. Berries, like your pomegranate is going to be in season now. Squashes. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Winter squashes.
I see, yeah.
Yeah. So your squashes, things like that, that's going to be in season now. So you eat, and you know what I mean, to grow too. You know what I'm saying? But those are what you're going to need for now. And of course, like your oranges, right? Notice most of the fruits that are going to be in season are all going to have the high vitamin C content. See? So that's a good question. But that's good, just to get back in tune with where we at. We got to start back eating back living foods again. That's why I call it a living. But you got to eat live foods, living foods. Think about it, y'all. We walking around with our diet, right? And we if you that gangster, right? You hunting, you kill off the deer, you drag the deer, you got to skin the deer, you got to tenderize it, you got to cure it, then you got to tenderize it, then you season it with plants to make it taste good because you ain't gonna eat it raw. And you fry it, you broil it, you bake it, do all that just to eat this dead flesh. That's not giving you any life. So even when you saying diet, you're eating dead things. You eat dead things. Putting dead animal flesh in you, and you think that's supposed to make you feel alive. It's not digested in your digestive tract either. It does not digest. It rots. It rots. So we walking around like walking around like tombstones, like graveyards. Like, you understand? We walk, our body is like a walking graveyard. We got a bunch of just dead animals inside us. So we walking around like that. Right? And you deteriorate from the inside like that. So we gotta get back to eating natural, whole foods. Your fruits, your vegetables, your natural grains, right? Without the starches, right? We get to those, it's going to put life back in us. Think about how dull, and you eat animal flesh, you eat animal flesh. That I'm just giving an example, right? But look how dull it looks. If you really seen it in its real nature, because in the supermarket they put the what you call it, nitrate on it, sodium, ammonium sodium, right? And then it turns pink and red and all that. That's not a mean look. It's just like grayish brown. It's like, you know what I mean? But it doesn't look appealing. You won't eat it because it doesn't look appealing. Some of it be rotten too. But once they spray it on there,
that's a good sale price on them.
yeah. And you think you're getting a good deal on a pound of chicken for $2. You're like, man, I went to Dawson's and got a pound of chicken for $2. I don't know how they sell chicken in my house, but you're the point, right? Yeah, so you eating this stuff and you happy. You happy too. You know what I mean? So you eating dead things. Nothing dead is gonna give you life. That's not how nature works. That's not how it works. You see? So get your greens in you. You see that green, when you see that green, that represent life. You know it got to represent life if the nature itself painted it that way. Nature, God, whatever name y'all want to use. Will make y'all feel good. This is about health, it ain't religious. I don't care what you praise. Cool. But what you see out there, you see green. That gotta represent life. You know what I mean? So when you putting this in, and just think about how it got green, or that chlorophyll. That's another form of melanin. It's like you, right? Dark skin. But it makes it green, coming from that sun.
Chlorophyll.
So it really, literally transforms this sunlight into a liquid form, and it's readily available for you. So eating greens is like eating liquid sun. It's like eating the sun. And you know you were sun people, so it's only right that we eat food from the sun, or real soul food, right? When we talk about soul, we know soul represents what? S-O-L. You see S-O-L
Represents the sun.
it means sun, right? Solar, right? Soul, sun. What else? They call it soul food. But look at soul food. Soul food is scavenger food. Chitlins and rice, turkey neck, and pig lard and fried and lard upon lard, cornbread, He said, I ain't giving up my cornbread. Right? That's soul food, right? That causes nothing but inflammation and it makes you tired when you eat it.
It's sluggish.
Go straight to sleep. Itis. We call it itis, but we know itis just means what? Inflammation. Your body had to tell you after you finish eating rice and butter beans, turkey neck with the gravy on top, cornbread on the side, macaroni and cheese. You wash it down with a pink lemonade or iced tea. Then afterwards, you get your cherry pie, your sweet potato pie, pumpkin pie, whatever. We don't eat no pumpkin pie, but you know what I mean? Yeah, pumpkin pie. So you get all that, right? Your body says, "This is crazy. What is it doing?" I said, "You know what I do? No. We're gonna shut them down." I feel like that's how the body talks. So if I'm
Sick of it.
this is how I feel. But the body's sick of us, right? So it's like, no, this nigga crazy. He's going full. He's going mad. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna shut him down. We ain't doing nothing. We're gonna save him from himself or herself. That's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna shut it down. We're gonna make this person go to sleep. So we can kind of digest some of this food that this fool ate. Because guess what? I don't even, I still feel like I'm the body, right? So I don't even, that's why I said that, right? So I'm speaking third person, but I'm the body, right? Okay. so the body said, this is crazy. I don't even know why he did this. I don't even recognize what he put in my body anyway. Because the body, it does not recognize it as food. It doesn't. It doesn't know what it is. Like, yo, what is, I don't know what that is. Just throw it in the colon. I don't know. Throw that in the colon. We breaking it down. Doesn't know. Or the pancreas, it doesn't shoot out no insulin because it's like, that ain't glucose. I don't know what that is. That's not sugar. That's not the sugar that we know of. I don't know what that is. So we ain't shooting out of that. So everything, so you're confusing the body at the same time too. While putting all these chemicals in it, the body doesn't know what it is. I don't know. All right? So we gotta even know what to eat, y'all. We gotta know what to eat. Because that ain't soul food. That ain't coming up from the ground. That ain't coming from the sun. That's just dead. It's dead. There's no soul to it. All right. Any questions? Questions on the live there too.
What about salmon?
Salmon? What about it?
Is it good?
I miss it.
You love salmon.
No salmon. So, if you want to eat, so salmon's a thing. I remember reading one of his books by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, right? How to Eat to Live, right? He said that you shouldn't eat any fish that's over 22 pounds, right? Because those most are like anything big like that, they're more like scavengers of the sea, right? They don't eat the vegetation; they usually eat other fish, right? So salmon, as y'all know, salmon can get big. You know what I'm saying? So it's high in fat too. So you shouldn't eat it. If I had to say eat a fish, it should be a wild cod. It should be cod, like wild cod. That's the best you gonna get from me. Cod. Yeah. Like Alaskan wild cod.
Cod, not cod, right?
Yeah, cod. COD. Yeah. That would be the best fish that you could eat. Other than that, I don't really recommend it. But don't ask.
The omega-3s.
But see, that's the funny thing about omega-3s. Fish don't have omega-3s. Fish got to get omega-3s too. Guess where the fish get the omega-3s from? From other plants, from seaweeds, kelps. It gets it from the sea vegetables. So you just getting a second-hand form of omega-3s when you eating the fish. You might well just eat the seaweed too, right? Eat the kelp, the bladderwrack, the sea moss, etc. So same thing with liver oil. cod liver oil and these things like that. If you knew the function of the liver, why the hell would you want liver oil in you? So you just put pure toxins in you from something else too. That. Just think about the function of the liver. Question.
So online, someone asked, should we limit or omit hybrid veggies as in cabbage, broccoli, and cauliflower?
Yes. Because it's real high in what they call raffinose sugars, and that's what causes the actual gas. So if you think about it, they cause all of those particular vegetables that you just named cause gas, and that's because of that raffinose sugar.
They said hybrid veggies as in cabbage, broccoli, and cauliflower.
Yeah, all of those are what they call cruciferous vegetables, and all of those have high forms of nitrogen. All right, so example, broccoli. Broccoli doesn't have a stop, so what they do with the soil, they have to pump a lot of nitrogen in the soil to get it to actually grow. All right, so now you eating broccoli, you getting all this nitrogen inside of you as well. That can also kidneys. Thus, now you got dialysis because you thought you was doing the right thing by eating broccoli. You see, so keep eating broccoli, you'll be in dialysis because of the gas from it. All right. And I'll say this broccoli, all right, because there is a natural form of broccoli that grows in Somalia. That's the broccoli that we know of and think of. That there's an ancestor broccoli that is in Somalia,
Yeah,
right on the horn. Right.
Yeah.
Right on the horn of Africa, which is a natural form of broccoli, right? So that's the real broccoli versus the hybrid that when we think about broccoli, when we think about spinach, when we think about garlic. I know we'd be like garlic, like they said we can't have garlic. Yeah, I know, but there's still a wild form of garlic. There's a wild form of these vegetables that they took and hybridized. Now there's natural hybridized vegetables too. Like, for example, kale is technically a hybrid, right? Kale is a hybrid. Avocado, that's a hybrid too. But that's more for what you call a natural hybrid that happened through natural cross-pollination and then created this result, what we call kale now. So that's more healthier, right, than eating the cabbage, you know what I mean, or the spinach that we know of, right? Because there's 1,500 species of spinach, right? One of the spinach I like a lot is callaloo. They got another one called pigweed. Epazote would be a form of spinach. But all of these are forms of spinach. Those are good spinaches that you can eat. Now, the spinach that we used to, though, when you go in the grocery store, you say, I'm going to get you some spinach. That spinach is called Savoy. Savoy spinach. Savoy. That is a hybrid spinach, right? That will turn into a toxin once it gets into your digestive system. That spinach can't even be cooked and will release toxins in your food, in your pan. See, so that spinach is no good for you. All right, that's called Savoy spinach. So the Savoy spinach that in the grocery store is trash. It's trash. All right. So
You prepare your spinaches different ways.
So so you're gonna taste what I have in this soup. I got a callaloo and I got purslane in it. Right, so those are natural. They're really weeds too, right? So they're natural weeds that has this high fiber, high iron, vitamin C.
Like raw spinach.
No, not the spinach, not the Savoy though.
Right.
See, you get me confused. Don't get confused. The spinach that you're thinking about, that's called Savoy. But there are different species of spinach that are better for you, that are natural, more natural for you. Okay?
Where do you buy your natural spinach?
So I go at the farmers markets. And last, and this is a flea market, at the flea market.
All right. So the Mexicans, they got this big farmers market stand. They pretty much got all the vegetables that I eat that are more electrical. You know what I mean? What we call cell food, right? So I shop there. So I rarely, you won't really catch me too much in like you know, these grocery stores, buying a lot of vegetables. Whole Foods, Whole Foods is not, Whole Foods don't sell Whole Foods.
They don't.
That's a myth.
Yeah.
Same thing with Earth Fare. But you feel like it because you're going in, well, it's expensive, so it gotta be good for me, right? But yeah, Whole Foods got seedless fruit in there too. So ain't too much whole about the food in there.
It goes back to the wording.
Yeah, it's all wording. Wording is always going to be the key. They use words in the medical industry that we don't know what the hell they're talking about. They use words all around us, and we don't know what it means to be susceptible. All right? So we're going to take a break, and so y'all can eat. All right? So we can eat. And so what I usually do when we eat is I let the elders first, the children, the women, and then men that work. And then the bum ass niggas go last. No. But I ain't gonna say it like that. Alright, so that's how I do it. So elders, children, women, working men, and the rest of y'all just get it how you live. You know what I mean? Make sure y'all have paid me before y'all get in too, since y'all get it. I was talking about the bum niggas. Y'all ain't catch on. I see everybody's face. Come on, go ahead. Sometimes I go too far, right? Sometimes I go too far. Yeah, okay. So yeah. And for oh, you got a question? Go ahead.
Yeah, about the flea market. Individuals purchase your fruits and vegetables. Got the information.
No, you just go out to the flea market. It's a market. It's a market. So they
You don't got
so open for Friday.
You don't have a particular vendor you deal with multiple.
Oh no. I go to so once you go in the front entrance, you gonna see that big white tent.
Right.
That's who I go to.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. 'Cause I go out there also.
Yeah. So I go right there. I go to them and they got everything I need out there. Everything. So what y'all about to eat? You got alkaline pasta that she's about to open up, and it's made with kamut noodles. Kamut is a more of a natural grain than like wheat, or something like that. So you use kamut, spelt, quinoa. They got quinoa pasta now too. They got chickpea pasta and all that too. This particular one is kamut, and it just mixed it would mix vegetables in it, alkaline vegetables like your quinoa, like your zucchinis, squash, onions, mushrooms, whatnot. And then and it's a little spicy. Not spicy, not as unbearable, but enough to make that blood flow, get some circulation. You know what I'm saying? Because you need spice in your life. You know what I mean? That's one thing that we don't do here is we don't have a balanced palate for everything sugar and salt. That's it. But we don't eat any bitter foods. We don't eat any spicy foods. But the spice is what's going to help with promote the circulation, help with your cholesterol, your heart, etc. Bitter foods going to help with digestion, all right? It also helps expanding your lungs as well, so you can get more oxygen to your lungs. So bitter foods, especially in this time, would be great, right, to incorporate, or some bitter herbs where you can take shots, but something that's going to help expand the lungs and help promote good digestion and good gut health.
What better foods do you suggest?
Bitter foods you can do, I just mentioned one is epazote. So epazote is a good, it's a leaf, it's a little on the bitter side,
Is
but
that at the farmer's market?
yeah, you can find out there too. And I'll spell it. It's Artichoke. I'll eat it every now and then. I ain't gonna sit there and act like I don't eat. I won't say I'm 100% alkaline. You shouldn't actually be 100%. You should be 80% alkaline, 20% acid. All right. So that's how the body works. It's like, I know a lot of people say, well, I ain't alkaline this, alkaline that.
And see, that's the
But
thing. It'd be so much argument between, people who are strictly alkaline versus, because I was in a debate with someone about saying you shouldn't be 100% alkaline. You have to have a little balance. But a lot of people who's fully alkaline is an argument behind that.
Yeah, and so this is the thing. You have to have acid in the body. How you break down the food? That's acid. Your body is made from acid. What is DNA? Deoxyribonucleic what? Acid. So you created from acid. So we ain't gonna say like, oh, you don't need acid. So you need acid. You have hydrochloric acid, and you can help break down your food. So you need a certain amount of acid within your body. What you don't want is you don't want it to succumb, to overtake, because this is what's going to cause inflammation, right? This inflammation is going to wreak havoc on your cells. It can degenerate your cells, which can now make your cells multiply faster, and we know that's cancer, right? So too much acid, of course, you shouldn't have more than, like we said, about 20% of acid. 80% should be alkaline, right? So that is what, how the body balances itself out, and how it balances it, we call this homeostasis, right? So homeostasis is when your body is just, the blood, everything is just in complete harmony, right? So your body itself doesn't even want to be fully alkaline. The body will be at about a 7.5, let's say 0.4, 0.5 pH, potential hydrogen, right? So this is where your body's going to stay at. We call this homeostasis, right? So it's slightly alkaline. That's all your body needs. Also, it don't matter how much alkaline food you eat. It's always going to be this. It's always going to be this. See? So it's going to regulate itself, because too much alkalinity is not good for you either. They call that alkalosis. When you're too alkaline, you get sick. Start to form toxins. Acidosis on the other end, right? You could be too acidic, and they call this acidosis, all right? So that's why you would be in that slightly alkaline range. See, too much, it goes back to too much of anything is what? You know what I'm saying? So that's how that works. You can't, don't go so, you know what I mean? You got alkaline fanatics, you know what I mean? But this lets me know, like, you may not know the science of the body like you think you do, you know what I mean? Because you need some form of acid. Same thing with mucusless foods. No, you don't want to eat mucus-forming foods, but when you say, mucus-less diet and this and that, now you change it into something else, because you're making it seem as if mucus is a bad thing. And you need mucus because mucus helps with the immune system too. It helps trap certain bacteria and viruses and things like that to flush out the system. When you got a real runny nose, when you real stuffy, got runny nose, stuff like that, that's a sign that your body is working. This mucus has formed to remove these toxins out of your body. See, so mucus creates bones. Well, mucus creates cartilage. Mucus creates cartilage, and cartilage creates bones. You see? So to say we ain't supposed to have no mucus, that's not sense. What you're supposed to have is a balance. You shouldn't have excess mucus in the body. Now that's the problem. You see, so it just there's certain things that need to be cleaned up a little bit when we talk about acid alkaline, because alkaline, chlorine is alkaline, ammonia is alkaline. You ain't gonna drink that shit in. You know what I'm saying? So when we gotta keep things in perspective when we, you know what I mean, talking about acid alkaline. You got a question?
Yeah, before you go, that's what they want.
Yeah, but
So what's the difference between alkaline based diet
a plant-based diet?
and alkaline? 'Cause I've kind of heard both, but I don't know if there's a difference.
So the difference between a plant-based diet and alkaline diet. So I mean, for me, it's one and the same. You understand? Like, if you on a plant-based diet, most of the foods may be alkaline.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Now, because you still alkalinity, you still within the whole foods range. You're eating whole foods, whole grains, natural grains, no hybrid foods. You see, foods that are electrical, because you are electrical. Everything about you is electrical. Your brain, your nervous system, all of that's just a bunch of electricity flowing through your body. You see, so you need electrical foods to fuel that. You're not gonna put diesel in a unleaded tank. Not gonna work. Car not gonna work. So it's the same way. You gotta put the correct fuel inside your body to charge you correctly. See? Well, yeah. So plant-based. So I'd rather say I'm plant-based or alkaline versus saying I'm vegan. I do not say I'm vegan.
Yeah.
I'm not vegan. And just because you're vegan, that don't mean you're healthy, because a lot of vegans eat processed foods that are not whole foods. You see? So I don't like to say I'm vegan. And then, I don't know, you might see me with a leather jacket on, you know what I'm saying? Fly Sherlin on, something like that. Or, you know what I mean? Might have some wild bees on my foot. You know what I mean? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not a vegan fanatic like that. I'm not. Huh? Oh, on that rack behind. I'm not fanatical like that to that point where I care about the animals more than I care about humanity. Like, you know what I mean? I just don't. Now, the best I can do for the animals is respect the animal space. I ain't gonna eat you. Don't eat me. You know what I mean? It's just that simple.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
There's so many different agave syrups out there.
Yeah, I got it.
What?
So you want the darkest one?
The
darkest one is the less processed one. The lighter ones are always gonna be the more refined, and that's really just sugar at that point. So the sister was asking what agave should we use. So more so the darker one would be the best to use. But nowadays too, like I seldomly use agave like that because it's so commercialized now that you don't know what you like. You know what I mean? So like you still can use like date syrup, date syrup, date sugar, coconut sugar. You can use those.
What about xylitol?
Xylitol.
Listen
how that sounds.
Yeah. That's
xylitol. I don't know how to spell it. How you spell it?
It's with an X.
X.
X Y.
Atol?
Yes.
XY atol.
Yes,
See,
I researched that one time.
So if I can't spell it or pronounce it, I ain't gonna eat it. You see?
They claim it's supposed to be better for diabetics.
No, that's really help cause.
Yeah. I know. Don't listen to everything. When the white man tell the truth, y'all? How you know the white man lying?
When they move their mouth.
When they open their mouth. So, yeah, you can't take too much of what they say. But yeah, I take that time, eat your food. I guess you can take questions on there. Okay. I'm sorry, y'all. Let's see. I answered that question. Okay.
The next one was, what about rice?
Okay, a question was asked, what is the issue with rice? All right, rice pretty much contains cyanide, all right? Rice contains cyanide, the white rice, brown rice, all of that contains cyanide, all right?
Any kind of white rice.
Any white rice. You know, they get fancy. Oh, this jasmine rice though.
Yeah.
That's authentic.
Rice, what are you talking about?
Yeah, the balsamic. No,
Yeah, balsamic or whatever you call it. Balsamic. I don't want the rice that sounds like it. But no. But yeah, so rice is basically high and it's high in starch. It's a starch, right? Nature doesn't make starches. Nature doesn't make starch. All right. Now you do have rice alternative. When I say nature doesn't make starch, what I mean is this: starch is carbonic acid. They use that starch to bind things, to bind other things together.
Right? Make something.
Right.
Something else.
Exactly. So rice is high in starch. Those are always going to be your cause of diabetes. It'll wreak havoc on you, and it's nutrient deficient. Now, you can't eat black rice or what they call wild rice. Wild rice, that's good rice. You can eat that, and that rice is actually a grass. You see, it's actually grass. So black rice will be a good alternative for those who, still like that rice, that texture, and want that craving for rice. Eat wild rice. Eat the black rice.
The Mexican salad.
No. You can get black rice out of out of any store now.
Yeah.
Any
Because
store
they sell
right now.
the wild rice and all
Have you
that.
shopped at a fresh market before?
Fresh market? No, I don't think so.
Because they have a lot of those stuff that, you talk about certain vegetables and fruits that you can't find in certain places.
Okay.
We live in Georgetown, so we normally go to Pawleys Island
Okay.
to the fresh market. I think they have one in Charleston. I know they got one in Columbia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So white rice no good. Any type brown rice no good. Any of those rice no good. You will cause arthritis. It will cause diabetes.
I guess.
So no rice. And especially if you native to like Africa or your genetics spawn from there, rice don't grow there. Like that's not. It was brought by the Asians. That's not nothing. Grits? What's a grit?
Supposed to be green.
You see what I'm saying?
Which is ground up corn.
Yeah, I'm gonna see it, but I always ask the question just to get a reaction because it's like, what the hell is grits? I don't know. I never asked for grits. But no, grits is a no-go to. Grits is it's just discarded corn that they use. All of this stuff is scavenger food that we use, that we ate to survive as captured people.
Okay, so what thing is this?
Yes, that's soup.
Okay, if you eat grits by,
Yes.
that's why I was asking.
Good question. Good question. So what you're eating, that's fonio. Yeah, fonio. So fonio is actually a grits replacement. If you like your grits, that would be a good grit replacement. Right. Right. So fonio is a West African grain out of Gambia and Senegal but it has tons of minerals in it.
Can you spell that on the board?
Fonio? Okay, yeah, sure. Fonio is Fonio. Fonio. So it's a omega-3s in it, high in B vitamins, we need. But it's also good for energy. It's also good for weight loss. You know what I'm saying? Instead of using the rice or grits or whatnot, use the fonio, right? It's easy and high in fiber, so it's gonna help flush you out too.
Where did you get that from?
Fonio? Where can you fonio? I sell fonio. I sell it too. So I do have fonio. But other than that, you could probably find fonio in any type of African market. If y'all have African market near you or whatnot, you can they probably will have fonio. And you make it just like you would make grits, right? You won't wash it off, of course, and then boil it however you make it grits. That's how you gonna make the fonio, right? And it will taste like how you want it to taste like. See? So that would be. I hope I answered that question about the rice. Let's see what other questions they got. I'm all up in the thing. Yes, Sister Kia Bobby, you can do phone consultations. We do virtual phone consultations. You can book it online actually on my website. Look at me. Thoughts on coffee. Coffee. So coffee is no good. They want to see the food. They want to see the food too. Oh, you got that? Okay, cool. Yeah, we're working on that. You're going to get to see the food. Yeah, because if you do want to include them. But so with coffee is no good, all right, because of the caffeine levels in coffee. And then a lot of people, when you feel real tired after you that real crash, because the caffeine in that coffee has depleted your iron levels, right? So it depletes your iron.
Yeah, so that's causing me tired.
That's what's gonna make you tired. That's what that big crash is all about. Now you got to keep drinking this coffee to stay up, but you're draining yourself of minerals when you're drinking this coffee. Whether you say caffeinated or decaffeinated, such things, they're still gonna do the same thing.
So that's why they drink it throughout the day, because they keep crashing. They gotta keep bringing stuff back up.
Yeah, and then what it also does, it can give people headaches. A lot of people drink a lot of coffee, they end up getting headaches because what it does is it constricts the vessels. It constricts it, so you're not getting a lot of blood flow throughout the body, especially to the brain, etc. And so now you got a headache because your vessels are now constricted, right? So coffee is no good. However, you do have substitutions that you can use for coffee. So a combination that you can use for coffee, you can use chicory root, you can use dandelion root, OT root, and that's going to give you that coffee taste. Now, if you want that coffee feel, add a little bit of what's called yerba mate, right? It's called yerba mate. It has a natural form of caffeine in it. Can you spell that? Yerba mate, yes.
What about vitamin B12?
Yeah, that's a good question. So YERBALATAY. So yerba mate. So that's a leaf. You can add those particular plants together, those herbs together, and have you a nice coffee substitute that's going to give you that taste, and it's still going to give you the same feeling without the crash. Right? So I'll say it again for those that are watching: is chicory roots, dandelion root, OT root, and yerba mate. So those would be a good coffee substitute. Give you that.
have that mixture on.
Yeah, I think I do actually. Yeah. So that would be a good mixture for coffee substitute. And nowadays, and I'm about to take this so far left, but coffee nowadays, and y'all can look this up, research it. It has blood in it.
Yes.
Coffee has blood in it. Like when you look at dry blood, what is dry blood look like? Coffee granules, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, so you don't want coffee anyway now, because these people out here now are trying to make you get a taste for blood.
Yeah.
All right. So that's a whole nother topic right there. But if you look up cooking with blood, if you research cooking with blood, you're going to see all type of things that blood is in, like chocolate, like the milk chocolate, coffee, and different things like that has blood in it. So you'll see.
I had a student from Brazil, he just came from Brazil, he told me that the coffee we get over here is not real.
No, it's not real. That's not real.
He's on the 14th, so.
So it's a bean. And it's a bean, you see it. So what y'all eating? Mother say what y'all eating. Of course, you eating the kale salad.
Which is good.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love
soup, good too.
it.
So kale, of course, we know it's high in iron, vitamin K. So it's definitely good for those who may have high blood pressure, things like that. You definitely want to start eating more light, leafy, green vegetables. All right, to help promote circulation. And give you those minerals that you need, like the iron, like I said, the vitamin K, etc. Also, and then of course, just like your tomatoes, onions, regular, and peppers. I said that pasta was made from kamut pasta.
Yeah, pasta.
With just mixed vegetables in it, seasoned squash, zucchini, red pepper, onions. Then the soup is basically chickpea and fonio soup. All right. All I did was I put it in a crock pot. It's just that easy. You put your chickpeas, you soak your chickpeas for a day, let it cook for a day in the crock pot, come back and then just add on to it. So I just cut up some what I call it chocho. All right. Chocho is a different squash. Chocho, they call it chayote.
That's the little green one?
Yeah, the little green one, look like a little pear.
Okay,
So
yeah.
they call it chayote.
Yeah.
But in the islands, we call it we call it chocho. All right, so you cut that up. I cut that up and throw that in there. Red onions, yellow and red green peppers. For the leaves that is callaloo and purslane. All right, purslane is also another plant a weed that you can see growing all around here. It'll bust out the concrete, right? But it's actually edible, right? Don't worry, I washed it off, right? But you cut it up, put it in there, but it's real high in omega-3 since we were talking about that. It's high in protein. Matter of fact, it's the only land plant. Purslane is the only land plant that has omega-3s in it. Most of it you got to get from the plants in the ocean. Right?
You said it's called
Purslane. Purslane, I spell it. Purslane is Purslane. Purslane.
Do you have plans on making a restaurant?
Making a restaurant? Man, you know how many times some people ask me, I feel like that's so much work. But I got somebody who's going to do it.
Right.
I may come up with the restaurant, but I got somebody who's going to work the restaurant.
That's what I'm saying.
She may not know it, but she'll know when, hey, internet is you. She'll know. So, yeah, so it could be in the work, but there's a lot of work. I don't know. Recipe book. Now I can do that. I can do recipe book. That might be a little easier. Yeah. And then the last thing, the cold thing that you're eating is ceviche. Ceviche is made with chickpeas, yeah?
Heart of palm.
Heart of palms.
Heart of palm.
So ceviche made with heart of palms, and then plantain chips to go with it. Yeah, that's ceviche right there. Yeah. So, and that's what we got on the plate. Could someone show that? Excuse me. Can you show the people they want to see it
At the end.
at the
I
end?
have a video already saved.
Okay, they're gonna show the food at the end. I'm sorry, y'all. Don't beat me up. I'm just a talker. I don't run. They run stuff on me. Any other questions? So I answered that. Yeah. So yeah. Look at me, sister. They're gonna show the food afterwards. Right. So yeah. Any questions? So now we know that food, and I'm gonna just keep talking, right? So we know that food is. So this is food, y'all. Do it taste different? Do it taste like food?
Yeah, it tastes better than the food supposed to be eating what they're giving us.
You know what I mean? So this is why we put these together too, so we can show and taste, right? Food. Because like I said, our palates are so unrefined in the West that we don't know when we eat something good or bad. Because the things that we say is good for us, oh, that's nasty. And then the things that's bad for us, we say, man, that's good. You see? So your palate is unrefined.
So I have a question on that. During the detoxification process, how long does it take for you? Because once you detox and cleanse, you remove, the stuff from your taste buds that you used to use before you start introducing. How long does it take before you gain new taste for certain things after the detoxification?
So a good detox would be like 21 days. And you do 21 days, you will be cleansed of that. You see? So 21 days is good. But see, or if you fast, right? So I recommend too, fast every 3 days of the month. First 3 days of the month. Fasting just for 3 days could do you wonders by just eating. But if you cannot, it would be best if you don't eat and just do water, do your teas, herbal teas or whatnot. That will also help reset you. That'll reset you as well. Because what fasting would do for those first 3 days, it will basically reduce and balance out your blood sugars, so it won't be insulin resistant, right? Meaning that the insulin will be able to be transport this glucose through the cells and give it the proper energy, you see, that it needs. It also will strengthen the immune system. It'll put the immune system back in order and balance the immune system as well. It'll get rid of the inflammation, but also excess waste, you see, will be released from the body. So just fasting for the first 3 days of the month will do the body wonders as well. It can help reset you. And it'll help with the addiction. But like we said earlier, a lot of this is we eat because we're addicted. And we're not addicted to the food, we're addicted to what? The chemicals in the food.
The drugs.
Yeah, we're addicted to the drugs. This is a drug. It's no longer food. See?
I got a question. Like when you fasting or even detox, say so you work in a job that causes you to burn a lot of fuel, a lot of energy. What can you do to help? I mean, since you fast and not eating things, putting fuel back in your body to, for you to continue on throughout the day. I mean, what can you do about that?
So this is the thing. Food don't necessarily give you energy. How do we know food don't give us energy? Because the more you eat of it, the tired you get. That makes sense?
Yeah.
And I guess you get tired.
Yeah, you get tired. The more food you eat, the more tired you get. So does food give us actual energy?
It does not exactly. Food basically gives us fuel the body to transform and
transform into it. So they got this thing, right? And I don't want to get too sciencey, but I'm gonna try to make this very simple as I can. They have, it's called, and look this up, it's called cation and anion. Cation and anion. It's like these little spheres of molecules, right? You got one going this, you got one going this way, spinning this way, then you got the other spinning this way. All right. That energy of that so-called food, right? What happens is it spins these atoms, these molecules, right? Now you see if this one's going this way, this one's going this way. Keep in mind they're closer together, right? Just trying to do that for the drawing part, right? But it's sort of like if they one is going opposite of other, and they touch it, they're gonna create a what? Friction, right? They're gonna create some type of electrical charge. Yes, yes. Couldn't think of that, but that's good. It's like a piston in a cup, right? So what this is what is going to give you energy. This gives you energy. This spark right here between that friction that the food, quote unquote, caused to happen, right? But this is what actually gives you that boost, that energy. I say that to say that you don't necessarily need solid foods for energy. Your body doesn't use it. Your body goes through the process. Some of my students in here, so they know this process, right? But the food itself goes into the small intestines. The small intestines breaks it down and extracts minerals and the vitamins, quote unquote, vitamins out of it, and it kicks the rest of it. This energy, these vitamins, so they kick it into the bloodstream, where the blood carries it throughout your body where it's needed. You see, the rest of that chime, right, is kicked into the large intestines and colon and come right back out. So it doesn't use the solid food. It just extracts the minerals out of it. That's all it uses. So you don't necessarily need solid food. See, you could simply, as long as you get you a good tea that's high in, like say, what I'll do a herb called cocoa mecca. Cocoa mecca, this is very high in iron. Cocoa mecca, burdock. I like hibiscus because I just like how it tastes, but it's also good. I have vitamin C, but I need the vitamin C to carry, well, to absorb the iron, right? So you need something, you need a herb with vitamin C in the concoction because it's going to help these two. That's high in iron. So this iron, though, that's going to give you that energy that you need, all right? Because that iron, what we call, they call it heme, right? Heme, short for hemoglobin, right? What this iron does, so heme is another word for saying iron, right? All right. Now you got oxygen. You have this oxygen. This oxygen latches on to the iron or the hemoglobin, right? And then when it attaches to it, it transforms into what we call oxyhemoglobin. And this is oxyhemoglobin. And this is how oxygen, minerals is carried on. This is that's what's going to give you that fuel too. Sometimes it's just circulation. A lot of people retire because of poor circulation, lack of iron You know what I'm saying? If you lack iron, that means your blood is moving, so it's not moving properly, right? So yeah, you're gonna get tired, right? So that's just a quick little tea that you can use. Cocoa mega burdock hibiscus. That'll be a good formula.
You think that's good? Was that good for a child also?
Yes, a child can take it definitely. Anybody safe for everybody except the pregnant women. But other than that, it's safe.
You have that mix here?
Yeah, it should be there, yes. All right. Oatmeal?
I don't know what it is.
Oh, what is oatmeal?
Yeah, is it?
Oh, oatmeal is it's acidic. It's acidic. So it's not necessarily, it's not a natural grain, no. So in the place of oatmeal, you could use it's called kamut. 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 It's actually an Egyptian grain. That's where it's native from. But kamut is a substitute for oatmeal. Kamut. Kamut. So you use kamut to replace the oatmeal. Same concept, and you can flavor it how you want to, add your cinnamon stick or your agave, and it's gonna give you that same taste.
It looks like rice.
It's like little kind of like puffy type thing, yeah.
So it really doesn't look like it doesn't have that texture the same as oatmeal.
No, it does have the texture of oatmeal. It's gonna have the same texture as oatmeal. Yeah, it really does take oatmeal. Any questions online?
Thoughts on black seed oil?
Black seed? Black seed. Black seed is okay. Black seed is fine. I know a lot of people fight against it, but I don't. And I say maybe in the alkaline community they may fight against it, but I don't fight against black seed because I've seen what it do. But I used it because I wanted to see what the hype was about too. I'm like, let me see this thing. But no, black seed oil is good. I like it. It works good. It makes it how I feel with it. I say that, but I say you do have to be careful because you do have the kalonji seed, which is black seed, and you have the cumin seed. So what you want the kalonji. You want that pure one. That's the actual black seed. So I'm okay with black seed oil. That's good. It's good for high blood pressure. Good for diabetes. It will, if you catch it enough, if you feel like you about to catch something, if you take a little shot of black seed oil, you'll be in no time. It'll knock it out just like that. So it is antibacterial, antiviral as well. But,
Will you do a future class that is a basic biology 101 and you offer a detox?
yeah. And what was the first question?
Will you do a future class that's basic herbology 101?
Yeah. Yes. Basic herbology 101. And if you local, we can even do herb walks. But yeah, we definitely do. We might even make that not next class, but the following class we'll do basic herbology. You know what I'm saying? And I may, who knows? I may even have some supplies where y'all can make a tincture to go home with or something like that. Ain't that something? No. You don't get attention. You don't get attention. Everyone gets attention. No, but so yeah. That's a good question. And yes, we will do one of those. And what was the second part again?
And do you offer a detox?
Yeah, we do offer detox. Detox. You can go online. It's called Clean Me Out. All right, so the full body package is a 3-part package. It comes with chelation capsules, or some people say colon cleanser is fine, but it's going to remove excess waste out of the body. It also removes cellular waste out of the body, all right? Meaning that it will push cellular waste out of the cell, all right? When you have a cell, you have parts of the cells, and one of the parts of the cell is called a lysosome. Y'all remember that biology? All right, so a lysosome is like it's like the garbage truck of your cell. All right. So what the herbs that I have in this particular one will help the lysosome remove a lot of that excess cellular waste out of the cell to save it from degeneration. All right. So that's one part of the cleanse. The second part is the blood cleansing tea. This tea is going to remove toxins out of the blood. It's going to cleanse your liver. It's going to cleanse the kidneys. All right. Do not take no detox. It is not a detox if it does not cleanse your blood, kidneys, and liver. All right. That's not a detox. Some people think detox is just taking a laxative and just because they use the bathroom 5 times out that day. What you did was actually dangerous. All right, because what you're doing is you're stripping minerals out of your body too when you're doing that. All right, and the third part of the package is going back to what I just said is putting back minerals back in the body. So you're going to get either sea moss capsules, sea moss and bladderwrack mixed with burdock root capsules, or you'll get what we call a green light formula, which is basically the same thing in a powder form, right? So that is going to give you all the minerals you need to put back in your body. So that'll be the full body detox. You'll get instructions and you get a food list, and it'll last about 2-3 weeks, about a 2-3 week cleanse. All right. So we do carry a detox, full body detoxes. Right.
And last question. Oh, sorry. That's one of my questions. What about acid reflux when fasting?
Acid reflux when fasting means that you are not drinking enough water. You need more water, especially when you fast. When you fast, you need to drink more water. More particularly, I would probably do spring water or alkaline water. You know what I mean, to get those minerals in the body. But even if you do have acid reflux while you're doing that, an herb that you can use is slippery elm. You could do sea moss, and you could do burdock root. All right, those three are good for reducing acid in the body. All right, so slippery elm, sea moss, burdock root. Those will help remove excess acid out of the body to help with the acid reflux. Any herb that is going to like that's gelatinous or forms like a gel coating, like a slippery elm or sea moss. That's what you want to coat that, but it'll help just kind of push the acid out. So yeah, those three herbs will be good for acid reflux while you detoxing. But number one thing is to increase your water intake. All right, you had what you do?
The B12, you never answered.
The B12.
B12,
So what about it?
is it good?
Yeah, that's good. You gotta have B12. Most vegans lack B12, right? So because they don't necessarily eat, properly or combine their food properly, and that's another thing. That could be a topic too, just food combining itself. Because we don't combine our foods properly, right? But B12 is good, is excellent, it's what is needed. Now, I know you've probably seen my the little commercial, right? And I said there's no such thing as a vitamin, right? And somebody's like, man, what you mean by man? What you talking about, Willis? Right? So technically, there is no such thing as a vitamin, right? Vitamins are actually organisms or living organisms that are in the body or in the foods. All right, you're not gonna get no vitamin in no pill because it's a living thing. It's a living organism. Now, what you can do, like for example, the B vitamin, the B complex, right? They call it B because that's what scientists call it. But when you look at it, when you look up what the organism that is linked to the B, it's called cobalamin. All right, it's called cobalamin. And cobalamin also be, y'all can't see this no more. So it's called cobalamin. So this would be your B complex. Your B complex. Now, if you look, each vitamin, and y'all can look this up, each vitamin is going to actually have an organism that is linked to. So this is what you're really saying when you saying cobalamin, when you really when you say B, right? Same thing with D, right? Hormone D, right? No such thing as vitamin D. Vitamin D is actually a hormone, and they call it decalciferol, right? Decalciferol is hormone D. So these are not vitamins. This is what I mean by it. There's no such thing as a vitamin because it's not. And these are hormones. These are living organisms that exist, and a lot of them are secreted by interaction of the sun, of sunlight. All right, we have to get out into the sun more. We get out into the sun more, you're gonna get charged. You get charged because you start to get these vitamins are starting to activate inside of you. Right? You go outside about 10:30, 11 o'clock during the day in the sunlight, you're gonna get that vitamin D. I mean, not vitamin D, well, vitamin D2, but you're gonna get B, or that cobalamin is gonna be released in the digestive system. It's gonna help with breaking down foods even further.
What is it? We recommend for energy
Natural, natural energy. Like I said, you could do what herbal wise. You say? Okay, so herbal wise, you could do. You could, of course, you do sea moss. You could do. So that's a root. It's called suma. 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 Right. It's excellent for energy. Astragalus is another one excellent for energy. The one I said earlier, Yerba Mate. That's another one good for energy as well, for the herbs, herb-wise. You could do Elethra root, or what they call Siberian ginseng.
You said Suma?
Suma, S-U-M-A. Right, you can do that. You do Ira Pwama. That's another one excellent for energy. Some people, Maca, Tomcat Ali, Tribulus terrestris. A lot of these herbs that they do release a form of energy once in the body. So that would be good for your use. But a lot of times, the best thing is any plant or food that is high in iron. You see? Because iron is the carrier. That's going to carry and create circulation in the body. That's what's going to keep you moving, right? Keep your blood. If your blood is stagnated, then that's what's going to decrease your energy.
So how do you feel about beets?
Beets?
Beets.
Yeah, beets is a starch. Beets is no good, but you know, at the same time, when you talking to vegan or somebody, I don't like them. I don't want nobody to jump me. You know what I mean? 'Cause I can fight. You know what I mean? But I don't want nobody to jump me. So what it is like beets. It's like if you want to eat your beets, you beet. But when I said earlier, nature doesn't create starch. So if it has a starch in it, it's no good. It's a hybrid. It's no good. Nature only creates now. We could say this. Nature creates what we call restraint starch. Restraint starch. So when you talk about quinoa, you talk about, say, the green banana, that is a form of restraint starch.
What about yam?
Huh? Yam?
What about yam?
White yam, no. Anything white or no would be good for us.
Like the Bruno bananas or
The burro? Burro bananas is
good.
good, yes, because it has a seed, right? But that other banana, I did a post one time showing the different forms or evolution of the banana to the banana we see now. It's seedless, it has nothing in it. It's just straight sugar. So that's no good. But restraint starch is not really a starch. It's technically a fiber. All right? So it's not necessarily a starch, but they call it starch. They call it a restraint starch. So this is what I mean. This is nature. Nature creates restraint starch. Man, starch, carbonic acid. All right? But
Should we be freezing?
should you freeze food if you want to? That ain't gonna harm nothing. Freezing food is fine. Dry free fruits, whatever, that's fine. Now you shouldn't eat dry fruit. You know?
So you should or shouldn't?
Shouldn't. No dry fruit. You can't trick your body. It's sugar, it's sulfur, but your body does not recognize a raisin. It says, I don't know what this is. So guess what the body does? It draws moisture from all different parts of your body just to turn this raisin back into a grape, and then it digests it.
So like the dry cranberries.
Dry cranberry, dry mango, I don't care. Dry sour, I don't care what fruit you name. If it's dry, it's no good. And if you want to eat it, if you eat it, okay, cool. But what you should do is probably drink lots more water with it if that's what you want to do. But I'm just giving you the science that dry fruits are no longer a food to the body. The body does not recognize that. It says, oh, I have to turn this raisin back into a grape. And why it does that is pulling moisture from different parts of your body. Right? So dry fruit, I know we feel like, man, we're being healthy because it's a good, quick snack and all that, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's a no-go. You know what I mean? It's trash. It ain't trash now, Khet Waas. It's just, you know, you had a question.
I was going to say about mangoes.
Oh, yeah, mangoes. That's a wrap. You know? But like I said, if that's what you do, you just have to drink more water with it, you know what I mean, to compensate with the losing, because it has a lot of sugar. Sugar is going to rob the body of moisture anyway, right? Especially the nervous system.
You said with the detox, 3 days, drink some water. If you just do that, drink some water. But you said alkaline and spring water. Is distilled water good too?
Distilled water is not really good to drink. You can cook with it, but see, distilled water pulls. It's a pulling, right? So you can cook with distilled water because it's just going to pull the minerals from the food into the pot. So that's fine, right? Or you can make your teas or your herbs with distilled water because it's going to help pull the enzymes and minerals from it. But when you talk about drinking it, it's going to pull minerals from your body, right? So I don't really recommend drinking distilled water, either spring or alkaline water. And honestly, spring water is alkaline water, all right? All of that's kind of gimmicky, right? But spring water, most spring water, let's say all waters ain't created equal. Let's say that off top, right? But you can get you a good spring water, like I said, like a Crystal Geyser. If y'all local, they got God's Healing Spring in Blackville. There's a natural spring. You can get all the water you want out of that water too. So that's good natural spring water that's alkaline. Most alkaline water today is coming out of machine. All right? And the thing about this water, when it's coming out of machine, that means that it was man-made, minerals put in this thing here, right? And they made it alkaline. So what happens is, when you get out of that machine, you got to drink all that water right then and there to benefit from it. But if you open your water, bottle water, drink your water, top it, open, drink it, you understand what's going to happen is, just like a soda gets flat, that's what's happening to that water, that alkaline water out of the machine. That alkalinity is dropping and it's getting flat. You see? So you don't necessarily have to fall for the gimmicks of the alkaline. Yeah, alkaline water, spring water can be alkaline water, and that's fine.
You can use a lime and
Or some people use a lime, you can use phenol. You can use anything alkaline, not anything, but you could use a lime, that's going to alkaline the water. Phenol will alkaline your water as well. Even your pancreas is going to alkalize the water too. So, you know, that's something too. So yeah, you can definitely want to, you know, but you don't have to be too, you know, hard on when it comes to alkaline water, paying $20 for a gallon, you know what I mean, or whatever. So yeah, that's what that is. Any questions on here? Oh, okay, I think somebody. Liquid fasting. Okay, a question was asked, what advice can you give on liquid fasting? It depends on how you want to do your liquid fast, but if you can do waters, you can do fresh pressed juice, you know, or your herbal teas, you know. Those are all forms of liquid fasting. And you can use them all. You can mix them all, you know what I mean? Drink your water. Definitely want to make sure you're drinking water. You can also make sure you're doing your herbal tea so you can get the minerals in your body and you can still be cleansing as well. And then your natural fruit juices. Like it's best if you can actually juice the fruit, you know, yourself. That way you can get all the properties from it. So those are the ways. That's what I would, you know, I do when do a super fast. I'll interchange the three like that. So that's how I do it. So yeah, any other questions? Yeah.
I've been trying to become a health nut, but it doesn't work. But I look up things, and I found I'm not sure how true it is, but lectin, Lectin. I heard it was, well, what I read, it was bad. And it's in all food, but some foods contain more of it than others. So I just wondered if you've heard of it.
Well, you ask yourself this: is it food?
I mean, the food you mentioned here tonight, I saw food on this, so that's what I didn't know how true it is.
So with lectin, you can. It depends on what you eat. See, a lot of times if it has a supporting enzyme, right? So those are not good for us to eat.
And then we had chickpeas.
Yeah, but chickpeas is the only beans that exist. You only got 3 beans in the world that really exist: the chickpea, the fava, and the lentil. Every other bean, black bean, black bean, red bean, all of them,
Pork and beans.
Pork and beans.
That's beans though. Well, that's a regular bean.
Pork is not a bean.
Gotcha.
But you got but it's made with the navy bean. It's made with the navy bean. But no, that's no good too. All of those beans are considered acid. All of those.
Chickpea, lentil, and
Fava. Fava. Those are the only 3 beans that are actually exist. Everything else is man-made. So yeah, it's man-made. The peas, all of that. Remember, all of that. You remember, it's a man by the name of Gregor Mendel. Gregor Mendel, he wrote this book a long time ago, but he did these back in what, 1700s. And it's called Plant Hybridization. That's the name of the book, Plant Hybridization by Gregor Mendel. And what he did experiments and created the pea. And from that pea, he started creating other beans. George Washington Carver was making making beans too. The soybean, the peanut, which is a bean. See? So all these beans was created in the lab. You know what I mean? And they told us this in school. But we didn't know. We didn't know. They talked about Gregor Mendel in school.
Milk wise, because I found out when I was nursing, you couldn't have whole milk. So we put them on almond milk. Is that good?
So if you could do like hemp milk, hemp, that would be better. And you can make it yourself. That's you can make all milks by yourself using the nut yourself. Almond is not necessarily bad if you're making it yourself. But the almond that you buy, almond milk that you buy out of the store, ain't no damn almonds in it.
Just water and sugar.
And carrageenan, yeah, which is another way of MSG.
Now they sell one Publix that don't have the carrageenan.
Okay, but how much almonds in it?
I don't know.
We don't know. We did a study on it, and it showed that it was about 10 damn almonds in the milk. So if you got 10 almonds, then well, what is the rest of the stuff?
What's your view on hazelnut milk?
Hazelnut milk is good.
Okay, see that's what we
Hazelnut is good. Hemp is good. If you make your own almond, that's good.
What about oats?
Oats, no, oats is acidic. But you can do quinoa milk. You can make milk out of quinoa as well. All of these you can make a milk.
The walnut milk.
Walnut milk is superior. You can definitely make a milk out of that too.
You could do cheese out of
Yeah, you can make a cheese out of it too.
Walnut.
Yeah. So you can make these milks like that, right? Out of any type of nuts.
Cheese out of walnut.
Not any type of nut, but nuts mentioned, right? You know what I mean? So yeah, but whole milk, definitely don't want whole milk. Your body, as an African, you are not designed to even break down. You don't have the lactase enzyme in you to break down the milk. So you can't do it. Every other race can, because they actually have lactase. You don't have it. So that's why they say you're lactose intolerant, right? Mm-hmm. Because you don't have the lactase to break down, which makes sense. Because you got your own milk. You know what I mean? Black woman, that's it right there. That's all you need. You get old enough, you don't need the milk no more. But men still rush to that milk though anyway. We still trying to get that milk out of that thing. Let me but yeah, so definitely don't want no cow milk that is clearly designed for cows. Right?
Well, why do you push it so hard for parents? When your child turns 1, they need whole milk.
That's the program.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Program.
This is called lobbyism.
Yeah.
Right, where you got the dairy industry knowing that they're losing money. Y'all need need more commercials. Milk needs to do a body good. We need something, right? But
it started in the 70s.
It's been lots. So the thing about it has what 750,000 somatic cells in milk, which is another way of saying pus.
Pus, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So this is what you're drinking. You're literally just drinking pus. I feel like I'm supposed to get off this. I don't know what's going on, but yeah. So it's really just pus, you know. So yeah, you don't need to drink that. There's a question back there. Something? No, I gotta get out there.
No, I just want you to check on this one.
Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. It's them. It's them. They keep asking questions. I'm just gonna keep rocking. You know what I mean? That's it. But the gist of everything is this, y'all. Pay attention to what you are putting in your mouth. Qualify it with that definition of food. We know the definition of food now, right? Any nutritious substance that maintains life and growth. All right? So now when you go in the grocery store, you look on the back, and if you can't pronounce none of that, you're probably not going to maintain my life and growth. All right?
This long.
Yeah. If you can't spell it, if you can't pronounce it, you probably shouldn't need it. You probably shouldn't need it. So use that as your guide. Start making your brain use the word living instead of dying. Watch how the word transforms into eating living foods. But we want to eat living foods. We don't want the food to eat us. We want to eat the food. We know the food eats us inside because we already said that. Whether it's oxidative stress, whether it's aging, whether you got some form of disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, arthritis, gout, cancer, all of that is a form of eating you from the inside out. See? So just keep doing and keep that thought in mind, the definition of food. And say, damn, you know what? This is not food. I don't want this because this is not food right here. You see? And this is how you're going to train. This is how you're going to train your children. And this is how we're going to break this generational curse here. You see? Because we lead in everything. Every disease. Number one, heart disease, cancers, prostate, diabetes, obesity, hypertension. We number one in that. We lead in that. And simply why?
It's a war on us.
It's a war on us, but at some point it becomes a war against yourself. Because we know now what diet means, right? Diet means a way of life. But what is the Greek word? It's a Greek word. So this is the Greeks were talking about their way of life, not your big nose and big lip, kinky hair. They weren't talking about you. It's their way of life. So this is what happens when you follow another way of life. You're gonna become sick because you're now eating food that is not genetically linked and connected to you. When you look at your plate, you need to see a reflection of you. You go, you get Chinese food. That ain't African. You go and get Italian food. That ain't African. We go and get Mexican food. I like Mexican food. But it ain't African. You see? So we have to see a reflection of ourselves. You never will see a Chinese man inside a Mexican restaurant, though, will you? You will never see Italian inside of a Chinese restaurant, will you? They eat their culture. So we got to learn and refine ourselves and get back to eating our culture. This is how we're going to change the paradigm and shift the paradigm in our health. And when we heal ourselves, we make ourselves what, y'all? Whole. We make ourselves whole again. See? We ain't going to put up with no KFC and liquor store on every corner in our communities no more. We're going to say, no, we want a health food store there. We want a herbal shop. You know what I mean? Because you're going to be thinking right now. Food makes you think crazy. I had a lady, I blocked a lady, y'all, let me tell y'all. The McDonald's parking lot, it was coming this way, right? And so I'm in traffic, but cars are coming this way, and then you had cars letting them turn in, right? Fine. I wasn't paying attention. You know what I'm saying? I pulled up, and now I'm blocking the way. And I was like, I looked over. You know when you know you're wrong, so you don't look. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, damn, I'm wrong. But she wasn't hearing that. She down the window, you so you saw. I said, damn. I said, yo, she wants to go to McDonald's. She doesn't realize McDonald's, the food, she's a drug and she's a junkie.
She need that.
She need that fix.
Yeah.
She need that fix. She need that apple pie. She need them fries. She needs that Coca-Cola. She needs that. She going crazy. But she doesn't know she's going crazy. So I rolled down my window. I said, man, please forgive me. Please forgive me. I was not paying attention. It wasn't my intention to block you in. Sorry. I didn't mean to do it. I said, look on the bright side, though. At least I'm protecting you right now. High blood pressure, high cholesterol, cancer, diabetes. She looked at me crazy face. I said, see, it was the will of God. I'm being an asshole, right? But I'm being facetious, but I'm trying to, and I was like, it was the will of God. See, God wanted me to block your way so you couldn't get your food and deteriorate your body. That's what happened. So I said, now, are you going to look at the sign and say, wow, she's right? Or are you going to turn in there when I pull up? She looked at me. She laughed. Now she laughed. But you know what I mean? I know it was wrong, but I apologize. And I don't make it funny, like, calm down a little bit. Because I know you have a withdrawal right now, right? So she looked at me. She smiled. She laughed. You know what I'm saying? She shook her hand like, I know you think it's like crazy. Who is this guy? But she pulled up. Now, did I know she turned around? I don't know, y'all. But it's for that one moment, I was like, wow, some type of reasoning came into her. She's like, you know what, he may be right. And he's pulled up. I don't know if she turned around. But my whole point was the fact that she was going to her drug dealer, Mickey D. Y'all know Mickey D. You know what I mean? Mickey D around the block, served billions legally. You know what I mean? The kingpin. She went to the club, trying to get the Mickey D. Come on, man. You know how they do. Come on, man. Yeah, I need that Big Mac, man. Yeah, you know what I mean? I don't know how it goes. I'm just saying that's right. You know? So, but she had a withdrawal. She didn't know me. She was just But it wasn't because I blocked her. It was because she wanted that food.
She left there with the Burger King.
She could have went to Burger King now. She probably went to Burger King. She probably did. Probably went to Burger King. You know? But I say that to say pay attention to the food. It's the chemicals, y'all. It's the chemicals. It's the drug. That's a secret weapon. It's biological warfare. Biological warfare. You don't got no health food stores in the hood. But that's another story. Just gonna talk about food deserts. That's a whole other topic. But But yeah, that's you got one question?
Do you eat at any local restaurant?
Do I eat at local restaurants? So yeah, I eat at Dale's. That's a black-owned vegan restaurant. For the day, cause they you can make like your own salad. You can make your salad. For the day, I do Mexican restaurant called Tiki Taco, but it's just fajitas. So it's just sauteed vegetables, and you know what I mean, eat that deep. But most of the time, I eat at home. You know what I'm saying? It's mainly eat at home. But those maybe like the three I go to. Like if I want to like eat, I find you know what I mean. I go to those. You know what I'm saying? They do got another vegan restaurant too. Another black-owned vegan restaurant called Vine on Dorchester Road. Yeah. So so support your people. That's you know what I mean. They're trying to make a difference in the neighborhoods. Like hey, support them. Like you know what I'm saying. So I ain't gonna say that no. Just support, and then go from there. But the stages, I don't expect nobody to stop eating meat and that you've been eating meat 30, 50 years and then turn around and say, oh man, I give it up. I know it takes time, but eventually you may probably want to get off of it, but I don't want to push that, but that's the reality of it when you talk about your health. You know what I mean? Pay attention to your body. Know how you feel after you eat a thing. If you don't feel right after you ate a thing, it wasn't for you to eat. You know what I'm saying? That's how you know. You know what I mean? But if any more questions online?
No.
No? Well, I appreciate y'all for coming out. I appreciate y'all and online too. I appreciate that y'all care about yourselves enough. You see what I'm saying? It ain't about me. I ain't the healer. I'm just a guide. You know what I mean? You have to heal yourself. So I appreciate y'all. I love y'all, and I really, really do love y'all. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't like, love is love to me. So it's like I don't feel no way when I say, yo, I love you, yo. They might feel a way just simply because they probably don't have the love in them, right? But I can say, no, I love you, yo. You know what I'm saying? And I mean it. So I appreciate y'all again for coming. Um, Next month, we do this once a month. We do classes once a month. Um, Next month, I think we in the works of doing holistic health and fitness, right? Because you can't have it's one thing to eat the right foods and this and that, but if you're not moving and getting some circulation with exercise and fitness, and all of this is a part of holistic health. You see what I'm saying? So it's gonna be about fitness too. And I promise we may not do no workout, all right? So but come dressed for workout anyway, but you may not do no workout, all right? Even at home, right? Be dressed, have your yoga mats. No, we might exercise. I ain't do no exercise. I ain't paying you to do it. Yeah, I'm just kidding. So I love y'all and I appreciate y'all coming out. Yeah, no more questions, then we can end it here. But class will never end. Because there's always learning going on. All right, I'm finished. And then one another thing.
No, just that,
Question. You get in place for me. What are your
Well, yeah, well, oh, yeah,
Just one thing to add on. Next class. Next class.
I mean, I can give you a food list and that'll wipe that question out.
I got the.
Oh, with the phone, right?
All right, thanks.
Okay, all right, my brother. Pleasure.
you have the, let's see, you have the herb with the bird, the hibiscus.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You like it?
I enjoyed everything.
I appreciate you coming, bro. Appreciate you, sir.
He ate the pasta. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I think next class I'll start. So we used to do that. I stopped, but like everything I would have a recipe.
Yeah.
To go with it. Go with it. So yeah, that's fine.
All right, thanks.
All right, sis. Y'all take care, bro. Positive pressure. Come on. We can change up. Change up.
Mhm. Oh, I got that. Oh, it's on the way. Sorry. All right. Y'all have a good evening.